of experience at safety with I've been asked some about them already, but they're very close to roommates, and you see the way that the relationship makes on the field manifests on the field. I mean, there are things that you can tell because of the closeness that they have.
Yeah, I think you see the communication, and obviously that you notice they watch a ton of tape together and they talk. Right? So as soon as the offense breaks a huddle, you see them communicating kind of what they've talked about, or even before the offense breaks a huddle, you see that communication starting, which is huge between safeties, because not only are they thinking big picture what the offense is doing, they're also communicating with multiple levels to our defense. So you see that comfort level that they have with each other, and how easily they communicate.
Hunter Bowler picked things up pretty quickly. What are your early impressions?
He has. You know, I've been impressed. Obviously, physically moves really well, smooth, great size. Going to get to the point at camp now you show the physicality a little bit more, but he's had very few mental errors. It's just cleaning things up. You know, we push a lot of different things at these guys early, see what they can handle, knowing that it's going to continue to get tighter and easier for them. But I like the way he's handled it, and hopefully see him just continue to rise as camp goes on.
With Daryl, and another true freshman, Darryl Peterson, it seems like he's getting in some reps. I know he was with Nick maybe on Tuesday, getting a couple of reps there, and then working in with some other contributors from like years past. Just what have you seen from Daryl where he's been able to put himself in the position to receive those?
Number one, you see he understood his job, right? He was able to play his responsibilities and get to the physical part of the game really fast, you know, and he moved up quickly because of that, and now he's getting in there with those early groups. Well, bigger menu of what we asked, so just has to continue to push the mental side of the game, because physically, you know, he's got great motor and he's very physical, uses his hands well. So love the way he started. He's got a long way to go to be impactful this season, but he's off to a great start. Yeah, I think you go back to the spring for Spence, and he took a huge jump. Just first stretch that he was really available for a long stretch, and you saw the growth that he took in the spring and the confidence he gained from it, and he's carried that over to fall camp, and you're seeing kind of where he ended the spring off. He started off day one in that position, and hopefully continues to grow, and the main thing is gaining confidence in all of his skills and what he can bring to us.
How many outside linebackers do you feel good about? Guys you feel like you can trust that season?
Hard to say. I think that we're going to have a lot more depth at the position than we felt like we did last year. You know, we felt last year we got into a rut where we weren't making as many splash plays, and part of that came from guys playing a little bit more than maybe you wanted to. We didn't have as much depth as we wanted, and you know, the challenge to that group is to take that next step as an entire group. And it's been frustrating not having a couple guys getting many reps yet to this point, but we expect the next week and a half for that competition really to rise, and for those guys to push themselves to really separate and find out who it's going to be.
What about Rodas Johnson and James Thompson Jr.? They've been getting a lot of reps in the D-line with the second group. What can each of those guys provide? What do you like about this?
Yeah, Rodas, first of all, with Rodas, he high energy, you know, plays with a ton of effort. It's just trying to tighten him up. You know, he still does some things that'll get you beat. Just comes from a great place, being aggressive and trying to make things happen. Just got to tighten up his techniques a little bit, but he's going to bring a lot of energy to the field when he comes, which is a lot of fun. And so that's his focus right now, is just consistency aspect of it. And James Thompson is obviously a guy last season we started to feel really good about, and then the injury happened. So trying to be smart with him and work him back on the pace he should be, and hopefully have him ready to have a bigger workload once week one starts, but just trying to be smart, because the physical side, he does some impressive things with that big frame, and hopefully we have him just continue to grow, because he did miss a lot of time, and you're just trying to be smart about the injury. Yeah, early you just saw the consistency, and then he always finds a way to make a big play. Right? So I think he's more athletic, he's more gifted, he's more talented than sometimes he's given credit for. He's always had that consistent side to him, and that's why we loved him, and he was on the field very early in his career. Now it's just continuing for him to find those opportunities to be dynamic, right? Whether it's pass rush, whether it's in the run game. He's done it. He's had those moments in the past, and great leadership in the room. He's kind of the guy with the most experience, and I think the rest of that group feeds off of him.
Go ahead. Corcio is another guy who seems to always be in the right place at the right time, making the splash plays. What has he been doing to kind of set himself up for success this year?
Yeah, I think early on in his career, he flashed the playmaking ability, and now he's showing a lot more consistency. He's playing a little bit better in space than he did, especially a couple years ago. He's kind of gradually improved in some areas. So now you're seeing the playmaking come out more consistently, and it's a lot of fun. He's been physical when he's needed to do that. He's made plays on the ball. He communicates well. So I like what he's done. He's really stood out early in camp.
You guys continue to rotate a lot of cornerbacks. There's a lot of guys with experience. Do you feel like you've got a third guy that has emerged at this point, or how do you view kind of where you're at, knowing you've got Hicks and Caesar and some other?
I would say we're at the position we love a lot of guys, a lot of snaps in that next group of guys. But I wouldn't say anyone's just been head and shoulders. I feel like it's rotated a little bit. One guy will have a good day, or two guys will have a good day, and then maybe the next day you don't see them. But I feel like as a group they're playing well. It's just the challenge of camp is for somebody to try to separate, and we know we have a lot of flexibility with what Fan was able to do last year, playing in the slot and having the ability to play outside. So really just looking for as much depth as possible. And I've always rotated a lot of guys in camp. That's a position that you need as many guys as possible. Going through camp, going through a season, you need to stay fresh. You need to be able to attack and challenge receivers. I like where we're at today, but I would say it's a little too early in camp to say a third has kind of jumped ahead of the pack. But I think they've all had their moments.